I want our guys to feel some of the success because I think they're giving the effort, but it's just 5 plays where we make the game so much harder for ourselves, and we're going to keep fighting to try and rectify those 4 plays or those 5 plays because it's so hard, and obviously they were without some players, but they are such a well-coached and talented team. I mean, anytime you have Grant Basile and Tanner Holden in your lineup, you're going to have a chance to win games. Just how much attention those guys draw from opposing teams, how experienced they are, how talented they are. Just makes it so hard. And then, Finke, he's terrific. I mean, he just makes the game easier for others, and sometimes we make the game harder for ourselves. So it's it just kills you inside because these guys are fighting hard. These guys are working hard. These guys are, doing 85% of what we're asking them to do on the floor. But it's that little bit that we got to get to 90%. Obviously the game's there's never perfection. There's going to be mistakes in the game, but we make 4 or 5 that just allow for easy baskets that make it really hard when you're playing against a good offensive team to begin with. And so we're going to keep battling, keep working, keep fighting, keep trying to get 1 point better. But it's certainly a challenge to your fortitude.
Is there a way to coach crunch time, finishing games? You know what I'm saying? Or is it really just give the same effort that you've been giving? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It seems like something where, in theory, guys would get a little clammy or something like that, or something if they haven't done.
I mean, a lot of those guys have been in close games before. Obviously we didn't, make a couple strong plays, in a couple of those last possessions. I think crunch time and late game come down to details. And one of the things that we've battled with is how important are the details. And if you come to practice, you might hear me yell 20 times the difference is in the details. And we don't fully embrace that yet. And so when you need to be able to wait on a great screen and have timing on a screen, or you need to be super strong with the ball in either direction and really get the ball where it needs to get to, or read the closeout, or conversely on the other end, kind of have a heightened awareness of gap defense and screening actions and communication and rebounding. You get in those moments, you have to rely on your training, and we battle on a constant basis about are we getting by, or are we trying to get better? When we're in a practice setting, we're doing a drill against coaches, are we practicing with the proper imagination to say, this is 71-70 against Wright State with under a minute to go in the game, offensively or defensively, right? And I still think we got to get some more guys there, but I thought we had, and we'll go back and look off the top of my head right now, I felt like we had the right personnel out there. I thought we had some good actions called to get the ball to the right people. I thought Mike's shot in the lane was a pretty good shot, and I thought trying to get Khalil the ball there at the end is where we got to go, but unfortunately we weren't able to complete it.
Coach, one of those plays you might be alluding to in the second half, Enoch had an opportunity on the left side of the basket for a layup, ended up going to the right, and you could see the frustration on your face, ended up making just one of the 2 free throws. Is that just one of the type of instances you're alluding to, that everything just needs to come together for just to end up being a positive result in the end?
Yeah, I wasn't I had a good career because I really understood how to play, and so sometimes I don't understand why we want to make the game harder. So Enoch makes an unbelievable steal, and he's all by himself, and we wait on the defense for what? That's a race to the rim, and it's an uncontested layup, or for him a dunk, me a layup, him a dunk, and it's 2 points and you go the other way. I don't see the purpose in the waiting for the defense in that scenario, especially with the gifts that he has. And he battled his butt off tonight. I mean, he played another great game, but that's a play that you you don't get a layup there and you end up with 1 point, that hurts. Mike on the break, shoots the ball with his right hand on the left side and tries to flip it up, and we miss the layup, and then they get a dunk, right? So now you're talking, there's a 3-point swing without even sweating, right? You make that layup, they got to take the ball out of bounds, you can get back, set your defense, and then I think the next possession, Justin gets a shot block, they throw it ahead, they get another dunk. So like those plays, and we'll go back and watch and we'll coach it, but we have rebounding responsibilities when the shot goes up, and so like those responsibilities start when that guy goes into his shooting motion, right? So I believe Justin was in front of our bench and Mike was right next to him. As he goes up, Mike's got to be getting back. You can't stand and watch. We have too many plays where we just kind of stand and watch. We had a play about the 9-minute mark where I'm trying to call timeout after a made basket. We don't get the timeout. Ref couldn't hear me, and they end up with a 3-point play on that play. We were pretty tired at that point, trying to take time out to get ourselves organized, get back together. We come down with 2.5 minutes. We got a play call, or maybe a little more than 2.5 minutes, but Matt Mayers gets a legal screen. Like that wasn't even really an important part of the play. Like again, all the parts are important, but that was kind of like the jab to go to like the main portion of it, and we got to give the ball back. And so, like, all those things just start to just drive you insane as you see them on a repeated basis.
So many times we talk about turnovers. You only had 8 turnovers, but you should be adding those plays to turnovers, really.
Right.
Because a lot of mental turnovers.
Yeah, just maybe, like a wasted possessions.
Right.
We took a 3 in front of our bench where, the whole bench is yelling for Mike to drive it off. And it like almost gets blocked and barely hits the rim. It's like those decisions need to be made at a higher level against really good teams. They've won, however many they've won in a row, and they're defending regular season champ with Cleveland State. You can't just show up and not be so locked into your plan against those guys. You can go back to the first half. Tim Finke gets a layup off a simple backscreen action that we guarded for the last 3 days, and no communication from Matt Mayer, and no help. So now you lose a 2-point game, and it's like maybe that was the 2 that we needed to take away from them. And again, we just can't seem to find all those opportunities to make it go in our favor.
Is there a temptation when you see obviously their numbers to just say like, all right, we got to, especially when their guy gets 3 fouls in the first half, to come out in the second half and be like, we got to try to get this guy a foul trouble, or maybe you didn't do that, or
it's not really who we are,
right?
Unfortunately, we're unfortunately not built that way, and it's I don't think it would have done us a service to try and pick up full court or go to some isolation offense, and obviously Holden's a really intelligent player, and so he's not. I think you got to just. We're still working on trying to do what we do, not now all of a sudden reinvent it when we see that they have a couple guys out.
Cam sort of steered the ship tonight with 20 points. Do you think he's starting to finally get comfortable in the offense after he had stop and start last year, and then this year he didn't get to start the season?
I'll tell you tomorrow. Because Cam's biggest thing that he needs to continue to attack is his consistency, right? Obviously, he didn't play very well on Sunday from a shooting perspective, and had a great week of practice, had a great game tonight. But once we see that on a regular basis, when we see that same guy walk in the gym every day, then we'll know that it's there more than it's not, right? His skill level is tremendous. His shooting abilities, high level. He's gotten better defensively. He's gotten better with some of the toughness plays that are necessary to win Division I games. But that consistency piece is so critical, and not for him. It's it's the hardest part of anything, right? That's why we all work out on January 1st, and then on January 3rd we're too tired, we don't do it anymore. That consistency piece is what it all is, and so I think when you gain that maturity and you build yourself a certain way year round, then all of a sudden sky's the limit for him. So when he walks in the gym tomorrow, we'll be able to tell how well he can be ready to go and how consistent he can become in this final stretch of the season.
What do you envision Mike's role kind of being in this offense? Because you see the point total tonight, but not the most efficient shooting night either. Like, I don't know, from your point guard, do you want him to be aggressive and try to find his buckets, or would you rather him kind of pick his spots a little bit better?
I mean, I think it's got to be in a perfect world, especially nowadays. Like, you can't have a guy who's a pure point guard, unless he's so high level with passing, playmaking, defending. Like, if you have guys on the court that can't make a play or make a shot in terms of scoring the ball, it just stalls so many other areas of your offense. And we know Mike in his career has been, more of a scorer. That's what he's, been doing for his career. But I do think the challenge for him is to figure out the balance of when it's the right play, when it's not the right play, how to keep us organized, how to communicate better, right? Not to knock anything, but as we made this the transition we made last year, Mike's trying to make this year from the Northeast Conference to the Horizon League. And so we saw some of our guards last year, not play at the same level because you're playing against more size. You're playing against more size at the rim, right? You have to be able to really defend as well. And so, those are all things that we believe that Mike can become, really, really solid at. But he's got to understand it. He's got to see it. Like I said, he made some spectacular plays tonight. And then there's times where he's got to understand the flow a little bit and be able to really keep us on point where it's like I don't know if he knows right now, and this is something that we'll talk to him about, and we've talked to him about, okay, like if we have 2 bad possessions in a row, like what are you doing to make sure we get a great one? Like your job as the point guard, regardless of who shoots it, is to make sure we get a great shot every possession down. So like how are you helping contribute to that? Whether it's organizing, making sure guys are in the right spot, whether it's making the shot yourself, whether it's creating the shot for somebody else yourself, right? Whether it's communicating during the course of a play to keep us involved, there's some action, right? All those things are high-level point guard play. And, Mike has the skills to do it. He's got to just, again, become more consistent with it and really embrace it because he has some pieces around him that I think he can continue to utilize that will make the game easier for him, and then he can make the game easier for others, and then that's when you have a good team.